Okay, Scotty, now we're going to take a look at your fly from the overwater view, and a couple things stand out. One, you can see how high the kick is coming out of the water. I really have two things on your kick. The first is how high above the surface of the water that second kick is. But then in certain frames, and you can just see you're 2 or 3 inches above the surface of the water in that frame. And I think that's a lot of wasted energy and a little bit of a wasted kick. We want to come to the surface with those feet, but not raise above the surface of the water. And the other thing that happens with your kick that I wanted to point out, and you don't see it on this clip, but we'll see it in a couple of others, and I've talked about it at practice. You're crossing those feet. So I don't want to see them cross. I wanted to see them stay in the same plane at the same time, so they're together. They don't have to be together in terms of touching one another. They just need to be kicking at the same time. And sometimes there's some separation in your feet. So as we go along, I will show you those kind of opportunities where the kick could be closer together and not offline. The next thing that I'd like to point out is just how high your arms recover above the surface of the water. So you come out here, and that's a good exit of the hands, nice and long towards the back of the suit. And then as you can see, as you come over, the arms are headed upward. So at the hand and wrists, they're higher than the shoulder. So you're kind of reaching back and you're kind of reaching upward. The surface of the water is here. So it's about 3 inches below your hand. It's about ½ an inch below your shoulder. We want that hand to be on that same line as your shoulder. So we want it a little lower, a little bit more on a direct line coming around and not trying to reach up. As you're reaching up like this, and you're doing it on both sides, you can see it on the other side as well, that you're reaching upward as you come around. And for me, that does two things. One, it puts more stress on the shoulder. But in addition to that, it puts more work, which makes it more tiring. It also adds time to your stroke rate. We talk about stroke rate at practice. For a flyer, your stroke rate wants to be 1.0 right at a second. 1.1 is a good stroke rate as well. Your stroke rate, when I time it, when I'm looking at this at normal speed, is 1.4 to 1.5 seconds. And I think it has a lot to do with how you're reaching around here, and you're getting those hands quite a bit above the water. Okay, right here you can see you're in a nice position, straight across, but you can see from the shoulder to the hand, they're slightly lifting up. So you're actually lifting higher over the surface of the water at the hand than you are at the shoulder. And again, that just, you can see it really good on this angle. So if you're looking at that right arm, you can just see the angle is to the side, but it's upward as well. And what we want to do is work on that so that we're lower to the surface of the water. That arm should be right here and closer to the surface of the water, just above it. You could almost brush your thumb against the surface of the water if you really wanted to. And at this angle, I don't think you can really do that. I think you're high enough above the surface of the water that even if you extended your thumb, it wouldn't be touching the water. So that will help with the turnover rate, also help fly be more relaxed. As you come forward, nice entry right there in front of the shoulders. Minimal splash, but on fly you're going to have a little bit of one. Again, feet separate. I'm going to back up just a split hair and show you. You can just see right here as you're kicking, you can just see there's a little bit of separation as you start to kick. So just the feet are separated just a little bit as you're kicking. Then as you come forward, again, nice entry. I really like a lot of aspects of your stroke and how you're trying to swim butterfly. Again, you can kind of see the feet here. Let me get the drawing tool. But your left foot is here, your right foot is there. So they're just not in the same plane. And by that I mean they need to be angled the same way, kicking the water at the same time. And if you're kicking down from here, your right foot's going to hit the water before your left foot. So it's just a little bit off in terms of how you're kicking your feet down. They're just not in the same position. Part of it, you're pointing a lot more with your left foot. I'd like to see that on the right side as well. Very good. And then we're going to come into the turn. I like your turn a lot. As we watch here, come in. Could keep the head down a split second longer. I think that would help with the speed of the turn. But you do a really good job of getting the knees in tight and coming through the turn. We'll see a little bit more of that from the underwater view. If I'm looking at your arms here, I just want that arm in tighter. You can just see as you're coming over, it's more open. I would like to see it be much more tight, hand behind the ear, your hand slightly up, and it's open a little bit more, so you're not getting quite in that streamline as quickly, and then you can just see it come into the water, and we want a tighter hand so it gets tighter in that streamline right away. I think your push off is good. We'll see it from the underwater. Dolphin kicks could be a little quicker coming off the wall. Don't take a breath on the first stroke. Kind of talk about that at practice, and look what it kind of did with everything. You came up really high, higher for your breath than you do on other strokes. So if I back it up a little bit, you can just see how you popped really high out of the water. And then the arms were really high out of the water. So you're really exploding upward out of the water for that first stroke. And we want to stay lower, not breathe on that first stroke, keep those arms lower, and attack that first stroke a little bit more. But again, like a lot of the things I see in your butterfly, how you're executing it, you can see there again, looking at the feet, that the feet are kind of separated. So over here again, left foot is higher than your right foot. So we just want those to be together and not necessarily touching. That you can be a little more relaxed with your kick where you're not exactly together with the feet, but they need to be kicking at the same time so they're on the same level. And you can just tell your right's a little lower than your left.